All right, here we go. Let's see. Camera 2 is ready to go. That's kind of why I came back up. I want to get that thing operating again. I did figure out something was bugging me. I've found this camera like this twice now, and it'll have a full memory card and a dead battery. So I want to know what happened, right? Finally figured out it's the trigger was set way too sensitive, so I was getting a like wind triggers from even like a little piece of grass moving or something. It was a ton of wind, if you'll remember this time. But the camera triggers over and over and over again, fills the memory card, and then a little memory card full pop-up basically comes up on the little LCD screen on the camera, and doesn't turn off. The camera doesn't go back into sleep mode because the LCD is still saying memory card full. So it kills the battery because it doesn't go to sleep. So that's what happens. It's irrelevant at that point. It's not going to take pictures once the memory card's full, but that's why it's killing the battery when that happens. Not a big deal. So I brought all that stuff back with me. I'm going to load that thing back up. I'm debating moving that camera from that spot and moving it closer to the one where I'm getting all kinds of activity, because I got another SNRF 2 nights ago. My little cellular camera sent me an alert, and the other one, the male, well, I'm assuming a male, got to back up actually because is a blur between Facebook and YouTube, but I didn't know in the last video for sure, but I got a response back from the fish and wildlife biologist who led the study, who collared that fox. And I sent her my picture, and she said, that looks like this brand of collar, which means that that's one of our females. Like, it was no question. She speculated on which female it actually even was. She said, if you're getting another one, you're either on the edge of territories where they're overlapping and they're scent marking their territory, or you're getting a mated pair of foxes. So either or. The other one that I think I got before with no collar gave me an alert on my cellular camera the night before last, which kicked me into high gear, getting this camera back up here as an excuse to see if that guy got a picture taken. I'll show you when we get up there what where it was and why I'm kind of doubtful I got anything great, but super exciting to get another detection on that camera so soon. I'm in the right spot. So my hunch would be that it's a mated pair of foxes, and the female is the collared one and the male's the uncollared one. But I'm no expert. At any rate, I'm getting way more than my share of Sierra Nevada red fox activity in this spot. So all that to say, I'll probably move the other camera maybe a little closer. I don't know. I don't want to put so much hardware in that one spot that it, puts them off. So these are my thoughts. I also got kind of called out on Facebook, well, in a good way, not negatively, but corrected on something that I was super interested to find out. I've been saying all along that the Sierra Nevada red fox is one of the only endemic, like native North American red fox species, which is true. You got your Rocky Mountain red fox, the Cascade red fox, and the Sierra Nevada red fox. And I've been saying over and over again, the red foxes you're probably familiar with down in the Sacramento Valley area and stuff are a non-native, like an imported species, you know, a mix of old native foxes with fur farm escapee foxes and all that, creating like a hybrid sort of breed that's not endemic or native. Well, that's kind of true, but there is a native Sacramento Valley red fox, and it is a descendant of the same lineage as the Sierra Nevada red fox and the Cascade red fox and the Rocky Mountain red fox. And there's still some of them down in the valley. Someone just casually mentioned, I think there is a native Sacramento Valley red fox. Look up Dr. I think it's Ben Sachs or Stacks. I apologize. I think it's Ben Sachs at UC Davis and his research. Well, I thought I recognized that name, and he's one of the guys on the conservation strategy for the Sierra Nevada red fox. Turns out he's like the mammal expert at UC Davis, maybe even California. And when Fish and Wildlife got their first, they thought, detection of a Sierra Nevada red fox in the Sonora Pass area, like 2010, biting into like a bait bag of chicken or something, they sent that bait bag to this guy, to Dr. Sachs at UC Davis, and he did his magic DNA testing and came back and said that is a Sierra Nevada red fox, and that set off the discovery of the population of them down at the Sonora Pass kind of area. Anyway, this guy also did a big study on the Sacramento Valley red fox and determined where this, you know, localized sort of population of native Sacramento Valley red foxes is, and also confirmed a lot of them further south especially are hybrids, or, you know, what I thought they all were. So the thinking is, Ice Age period, these red foxes came from Eurasia over the Bering Land Bridge and then were isolated from Europe. And as the Ice Age receded, pockets of them got kind of stranded in these mountainous areas, Rocky Mountains, Cascades, Sierra Nevada. And a population wound up in the Sacramento Valley. These were like the lowland sort of variety, but they're all descendants of the same Eurasian red fox. Anyway, there's your history lesson. So there are natives hanging out in the Sacramento Valley. And I thought I should clarify that because I've been saying that there wasn't. So my apologies to Dr. Sachs and his team at UC Davis, but cool stuff. All right, we're there. I'm gonna check this camera first. Okay, here's the play-by-play, right, of this fox video that I got. Remember, the camera sends 3 thumbnails, and the angle of that camera is like this. Sorry about the sun, but thumbnail number 1, the fox is like down here going that way, right? Thumbnail number 2, it's like looking in the hole or on this rock pretty far over that way, right? My camera is there. Focus point is over here, remember. There's the bush. So thumbnail number 3, that fox is scampering up this part of the rock, not this part of the rock. So it went directly in front of my camera, right straight up here. I'm triggering, I'm gonna get out of the way. So it triggered. If I just triggered that camera, it absolutely triggered it, but it triggered it way over here. So I'm suspecting I have like a like a blurry picture of a fox's front leg, unless it made a little, you know, circuit up here and came back to the pea bush and did its thing. But I don't have a ton of hope. I'm about to find out. So I don't know if I should change anything. The only other thing I was thinking, looking at the picture I got, camera's looking over here. Right now my focus point is way up here. That pea bush is back there. So the focus point being this way is an advantage for like what happened the other night when a fox is coming up the middle. But it's a disadvantage if they're going to be returning to that same spot. So I don't know. It's like whatever you do is probably going to be wrong, you know. You can't predict that well, but the only thing I can predict is that one fox peed in that bush. And if that's a mark, if that's a, you know, a tractor for another fox, that's the closest thing I have to a pinpoint location. So I kind of want to move my focus point back a little bit. I think there's some forgiveness, and that picture that I got is pretty sharp, but if you really zoom in, it's a little bit soft. So it is like right at the edge of the back of my focus point. So I kind of want to just take this focus range and go just a little bit. So that's my thought. But let me shut this off so it doesn't keep triggering, and we'll figure out our fate with this other fox. All right, I came down here out of the direct sunlight here. Let's see, best way to show you guys. All right, here we go. We're gonna find out together. Me just now 159 photos. Okay, that I saw a bat up in the upper corner. That's probably last night and yesterday. Some rain yesterday. There's a squirrel. A lot of rain. All right, here's night. Raining at night. I didn't pick up that it was raining on that. That very well could be the photos right there. There's 4 shots in the rain. If that fox tripped it, that could be it. But here's another night. Yeah, we're going back multiple nights. No fox. My hope is that it didn't trip it and not like the lights and, you know, get scared and will never come back. I don't think that's the case. Especially with the other one. Stuck around for all 4 photos, and foxes have always seemed more curious than anything with camera traps. They just seem to kind of want to figure out what it is more than be freaked out by it. So yeah, I'm gonna move the focus point. I'm gonna change the battery and probably leave the batteries and everything else. I've got at least 2 weeks of batteries left. So I'll swap out the camera battery. It was showing like about half, 3/4. Yeah, it's frustrating knowing that target was standing in front of my camera, you know, but I knew when I saw the thumbnails, it probably didn't walk where I wanted it to walk. So anyway, we will, I'm gonna check this other camera here in the back. Remember I put a second trail camera kind of behind this area. See if they're coming up this way. If I got fox activity on that, I'm walking over there now. Like, this is sort of that ramp area coming up to the backside. If I'm getting them coming up here, I'll move my camera trap over here, my other one. But I don't think I am. I mean, they're coming, they do whatever they want. They don't really care about game trails, you know. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, check that camera. It's got 15 videos on it. Most of them are daylight. I didn't see anything special. Couple at night with a bunch of rain falling. I took the memory card. I'll throw it on my computer. If there's something I can't see, it'll pop up. But tiny little screen, it's hard to tell what's tripping it. Probably, you know, squirrels or something like that. But nothing spectacular back here. So I'm gonna leave that trail cam, and I'm looking over at the rock sort of ridge where that camera trap is over there, and it is the most similar like layout to this one. So I'm tempted to leave that camera. I never really got a good you know chunk of time where it's at. I need to see if I can figure out what was triggering it. I'll lower the sensitivity, and I think leave it. That's my thought. But I don't know. I'm gonna get this one focused and set back up. All right, I've been staring at this for a while. I made a couple little changes, not much. I noticed on the images that remember I turned it pretty far. There was a lot of that rock in the image, so I went a little bit back. I'm probably pointing like there's the bush. I'm like in here now. It feels a little bit like a wider shot, more of a chance of getting something good in there. And then I wanted to move my trigger because I was trying to figure out how to not trigger an animal coming up this little ramp just when they're kind of in front of that bush. So I pulled the trigger down. I went over here with it. I was going to shoot it that way to avoid triggering in this area, but then that's pointing straight into the sun for most of the day. I'll get false triggers. It'll be a mess. So I moved it over here. Thought I would shoot across that way. But then I ran into the same problem with an animal coming up here out of the plane of focus, triggering the camera. So I put it back over there where I started, but I narrowed the beam way down. So when I walk it, I can come anywhere right up in this ramp kind of area. I don't trip the trigger until I'm over there where I want the critter to be. So I think it'll be better. I think if a fox runs up and down this, they won't trigger it, which will, you know, not put them off, hopefully. Because you never know. Like if that fox was coming up here really wanting to pee on that bush, and those lights flashed, and he was like, well, I can't pee on that bush now, and he took off. That's the opposite of what we want, right? So I'm hoping this will be less intrusive. I don't know. Yeah, just me thinking as much as I can about the setup. So I left the memory card in this camera. There was nothing really spectacular on it. Rainstorm stuff, and it's a big old card. There was only 100 pictures on it, so left it, put a new battery in it. I put a new battery pack at the receiver and the trigger in the camera box. I left the flash batteries. They've got at least 2 weeks on them, and I'll be back probably in about that time. So I'm gonna walk away from this spot again, and we're gonna hopefully see another fox on my cellular camera in another night or two. But I also got that martin again on that camera, so I will pull that memory card and throw those videos. I'm curious to see the video of the fox because I've only seen the thumbnail images still at this point. So I'm curious if you can tell kind of where he was going, or if that camera trigger even showed up on the video. So not sure, but we'll pull the card out of that trail cam and get over and set up the other camera. Okay, check this out. That martin was actually peeing on this rock, or marking it, and when the fox showed up, it went straight to that rock and sniffed it out. So that's what that fox was up to. 2 days later, He was sniffing marten. All right, we've rebuilt here at camera 2. My best guess at what was going on before was that my trigger was up here shooting that way. There's some grasses and stuff. I don't know if you can see them. I don't want to go trip it again right now, but a little bit of grass coming up. It's pointing into the sun. I think it was false triggering from that grass, I'm hoping. I couldn't find anything else that looks like that, and the sun is, you know, can do weird things. So I moved it over to this side, pointing across that way. Again, my focus point is like that rock, assuming this is a bit of a game trail. It triggers a little before that going this way. It won't be a good shot of anything going that way, so it's all set up for this kind of motion. I got one flash down low shooting up, which should make kind of a cool rim light situation, and the main flash is up here that way. So camera's here. Photo will look something like that of something coming down the rocks. So there you go, we're back in action. I lowered the sensitivity a little bit on the trigger also, so it's firing now. It's looking good, and hopefully it won't be the fail of last time. So 2 camera traps back in action, and we waited out. So good to get a little answer to whether or not I got a picture of that other fox. I'm kind of bummed because that's the one I want, man. I want no collar, and I don't know, this fox looked fuzzy and puffy and healthy. Not that there's anything wrong with being an elderly woman, but you know, I would love to have a beautiful, fluffy, healthy example of the species we're after. So with no collar on, that's the big one. I'd love that picture of the female if it didn't have a big old clunky collar on. So we'll wait it out. I've still got a month, at least about a month really, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pull everything out before I take off for a big trip to Africa at the end of October. So there you go. It's a beautiful day today though. I'm gonna get this sweatshirt off and hike back to the car, but we will keep waiting. And if you're not watching me on Facebook, get on Facebook, and I'm posting whenever there's like a trigger on that cellular camera of anything cool. So if you want to pay attention to that, you can be in the know. All right, have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.